I came from work, I didn't realize I still have easels in my bag.
I'd like to call this regular Bayfield Town Board meeting to order for Tuesday, November 4th of 2025. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg.
Here.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Here.
Trustee Hartz. Trustee Katzos.
Here.
Trustee Moreland.
Here.
Trustee McLaurin. And Mayor Ah.
Here. All rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does the board have any conflicts of interest?
No.
No.
I do for 3, 4, and 7.
I can do it.
And Alexis isn't here, so somebody's got to get nominated to run the meeting.
I can do it. That was me.
I know, somebody needs to nominate you.
I nominate Brenna to be our mayor pro tem for the items that are necessary.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg.
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Yes.
Trustee Katzos.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. General public input for those items not on the agenda.
Tonight I'm here because our beautiful holding pond on the comments, that was the way it was described, it's beautiful with all this, flooded us all out. I have to thank Jeremy and his crew for helping us out. We had over 4 feet of water between houses. Jeremy and his crew tried to help us out. There was nothing really anybody can do. You guys, before this project goes any further, need to step in and help us out. My neighbor had over 2 feet of water in her basement. She had to have her basement redone again because of all the water that came through. This is what I came and complained to the board, and it still continued. I went to the meeting that they had for the Vice-Cedar flooding. And the engineer that was there heard me talking and wanted to look at my pictures. And he said that when they looked at that before we even got this rain, he said, you know what? We knew that was going to happen. He said, I can't see why the town allowed that to happen. And to me, it hasn't. And I asked, and I came before you guys, I've come before you guys before, and we're getting this, and now I see a lot of movement around that project up there, but nothing being addressed with that water that flooded us out. Also, in talking to the highway department, all that water went down on Mesa, went onto Buck Highway. There was several near misses of accidents happening because of the water and the trash that got carried onto the road. That's a big thing. I think that what's going on is that projects need to be stopped. You guys need to put a pressure on them to design that better. They've already ruined the fields for Ludwig's. Now they're going to ruin our houses. And you know what? People come in here and sell the big, beautiful holding pond. Well, this is like Donald Trump's big, beautiful budget thing that he's doing, screwing everybody over. And that's what's happening to us in that subdivision and the other subdivisions. This is something that needs to be fixed, guys. And another thing, this thing with the Alexis Hart has gone on long enough. You guys need to stand up, and I'm tired of dealing with this. You guys should have already taken care of this. It's almost a year that this BS started, and you still have done nothing. So to me, it seems like, you know what? Let them go ahead and do whatever they want to people. I went to the senior center for a nice thing and got treated like crap. So as far as I'm concerned, the senior center, if they need help or whatever, they're not getting it from me. And you know what? I think that shows on everybody sitting in here. Not only you guys, but it also shows on your new town manager that, you know, we called him when we were getting flooded out. And he goes up and looks at it, and his answer that I got from a call from the city here was, it's 90% empty, so you should be okay. In the meanwhile, that thing drained for days. Enough is enough. You guys need to step up and take care of what you're supposed to do. Take care of the public in the town of Bayfield.
Any other public comment? Has the board had a chance to approve the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, we need to strike, I think it's 8A. They will not be attending tonight.
So we need a motion to approve the agenda without item 8A.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda minus item 8A.
I will second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg? Yes. Trustee Cesaro?
Yes.
Trustee Katzos?
Yes.
Trustee Moreland?
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. Next up is Michael and Elaine Moravan donation presentation.
Mayor, good evening. I'd like to take this moment to introduce Michael and Elaine Morvan to you. They're sitting This story began about 2 years ago when I had the pleasure of bumping into Mr. Morvan at a local restaurant. There we talked about many topics and we kept in touch after that. Michael and Elaine are here tonight to officially donate to the town of Bayfield monies to be distributed to the local 501c3s to assist them in attaining their goals within the town of Bayfield. The monies being presented are from the Michael and Elaine Moravan Foundation. This will be the second year their foundation has graciously donated to our community. We will be opening up an application process soon for the 501c3s to apply for an equitable shared distribution of these funds. I would like to personally say thank you to Michael and Elaine for all he does for our community and the local area. Did you want to say anything, or? This is Mr. Moravan here.
As a 100% disabled veteran, I've been fortunate to be very successful in the stock market with financial things like Cisco routers, Amazon stores and stuff like that. And out of that became our ability to give donations of $50,000 a year to your community and to others in our county. And my wife and I are pleased that we're able to be in a position to help all these wonderful 501c3s. And I'm delighted that you as board trustees will have the task of distributing this money to your communities, since you know their needs much better than I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to do a photo.
What are we doing?
All of
Oh,
Kind of
pictures.
gather in the middle.
Okay, let's do that. I think that's great.
Presentation here, and just be careful with the wire we got here.
We could get more bands in front, presenting to the mayor and the trustees on both sides, and you guys can scrunch up.
Don't be shy. I would just like to thank the Moravans for their kind donation, and I hope that we can, when we give this money out, that they're really pleased with our decision and how we go about doing it. Apparently, we did a good job last year, and they've entrusted us again, and I hope we can continue on with that.
Is this the one you have to leave?
Yes, next is the public hearing for Pine River Commons, and I'm out of here.
As soon as he's out, we'll continue. Okay. Jeremy, do you mind grabbing that door? We are going to start the item 3, which is the public hearing for Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development Guide Agreement Amendment Number 1. Manager Waters, you want to get that going?
Good evening. Yep.
Didn't see her.
This is a request from Bayfield Haga LLC. I don't know if I pronounced that right. With Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development. The request is fairly simple. It's to essentially allow, instead of 68 platted townhomes, the flexibility, 15 have already been constructed. The flexibility to change some of those townhome areas into single-family lots. It doesn't change anything very much. The units will be in the same location as the townhomes. All that would change really is a few less units would be built, and they estimated at 4 less if they were to switch to single-family homes. The Bayfield Land Use Code does not have a process for amending a PUD. However, the PUD development agreement itself included language that said changes from land uses as indicated in this PUD guide shall require a PUD amendment approval by the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustees. Then goes on with notification requirements. In this case, we held on September 9th a public hearing in front of the Planning Commission. They recommended 5-0 to allow this change, that you should grant this change is their recommendation. Just to note, I've got a red line in the packet which shows all the proposed changes. Most of them are just wording changes to allow the changes to single family. Because we were adding a new land use from townhomes to single family homes, we also had to add some setbacks for single family homes. And most importantly, we kept those at similar to the townhomes, but we had to add a between unit setback. So we've got them as set from either 3 feet from property lines or 6 feet between buildings as a minimum. This is pretty narrow, but it does meet with building code. Other than that, we kept everything pretty much the same. We did add some language based to ensure that the groupings would not be a mishmash of townhomes and single-family homes. So that language in section 5 of the plan unit development speaks to the groupings of units will be either single-family, duplex, or townhomes rather than a mixture of structure types within the group. So they might have a group of duplexes, a group of townhomes, or a group of single-family homes. And then we also noted that the original plan unit development didn't speak to the workforce housing requirement. So we added that in with the applicant's acquiescence, and that basically just, all it does is refers to the grant that the town received and states that the development is intended for approximately 66 affordable home ownership units that will be offered at the expected area median income levels at or below 140% ownership and restricted as affordable for a minimum of 30 years. I just grabbed that language right from the grant so that it would be a match. So a few other little changes where we had to add single-family dwellings and/or lots in there. Other than that, it's essentially the same development. This is the zoning level of review with the plan unit development. And based on the Planning Commission's recommendation, staff is also recommending approval of the amendment. And we have findings for you that the revision as submitted is consistent with the intent of the Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development Guide Agreement, and that the revisions are also consistent with the intent of the comprehensive plan and all requirements of the land use code. Are there any questions?
I have one. So, referring to the grant that the town is putting up, how is that affecting us?
How is referring to the grant affecting you?
Not referring to the grant, but the town is backing the grant to this specific project. So moving forward, what is the liability that the town has with this moving forward?
Matt, this should not affect the grant at all. We are a pass-through. The town does not make any expenditures for this project. The expenditures are made by Bayfield Haga LLC. And then I receive their expenditures, they report those to me. I turn around and submit them to DOLA for reimbursement. And the town does not pay Bayfield LLC until we've received funds from DOLA.
I think kind of segueing off of what Trustee Nyberg had to say, was there any reference in our grant to the amount of units that were being built in that? Because my question would be is if we change the amount of units, is that going to affect the grant? And I think that probably
Correct.
kind of
Right, the language in the grant is the language that's in the PUD proposed amendment. It says approximately.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
I
was
felt
my
like
only
you were
concern. Like
safe with
if it
that.
said this is for 66 units and we end up doing 62 units, are we liable as a town for the
I figured
funds?
you were
Yeah.
safe with the approximately
Yes.
66.
Approximately is always
And
a
I
good
felt
word.
like this strengthens the grant or any liability by actually including the affordability requirements into the plan unit development agreement.
I do have a question for you, Brad. I know that the grant isn't necessarily what doesn't meet Prop 123's standards. The grant goes to 140% AMI, whereas Prop 123, which is not necessarily your responsibility or your project's responsibility, but the town did make an agreement that we would have a 3% growth of affordable housing under 100% AMI. Those are the parameters of the Prop 123. Do you see that the houses, because when you do houses versus a fourplex, it's going to be a larger price tag to it. Do you see that that's going to move that? I mean, I know you were able to do a couple under that 100% AMI. Do you see that we would be able to get any under that 100% with the changes you guys think you're going to have?
Absolutely, and there's actually, and you probably know this, but there's also extra money for people that are at lower AMIs to help them get into a home as well. But I believe right now, 3 or 4 of the people in there are under 100% AMI. So they actually got in our very first sale there. She was at like 70% AMI. So the good thing is they let us go up to 140% AMI with the Energy Impact Grant. And one reason that we decided to do that was because, for example, a fireman that made $91,000 couldn't get in at the 100% AMI. If they made $89,000, they could get in. So by allowing us 140%, we can go from 140% down, but we couldn't go from 100% AMI up. So it actually opened the door for a lot more workforce people.
Nice.
So, but, yeah, absolutely, and those, we could get with Homes Fund, let you know who those people are at less than 100% AMI, so it helps the town of Bayfield meet those goals.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
I would like to talk about the development agreement guide, or the development guide agreement. With the public improvements, it says they shall be installed in accordance with Town of Bayfield's infrastructure standards and construction specifications with the approved subdivision improvement agreement for each phase, and with the final improvement plans on file with the Community Development Director. So it says that the installation of required public improvements shall be assured through an SIA with adequate cost estimates, security bond, letter of credit provided. Public improvements shall not be phased with building construction, but shall be constructed within 3 years of the date of the final PUD approval for each phase. I know that our town has stormwater requirements, and I also understand that we have to meet the state requirements within that. Your project was approved by the state? Okay.
Both the state and
Okay. And if those improvements that you've done are in question, how does that affect your ongoing development? Because the more non-permeable soil that you affect has a greater runoff potential. So educate me.
Well, the first thing I would say is we feel terrible that, some of the neighbors have experienced damage or problems from the water runoff. The first thing I'll say is we take on a lot of water from above us.
Mm-hmm.
We take on water from your project.
Mm-hmm.
So we all kind of downstream take on water. Now, as our pond fills up, the ponds or the retention ponds are designed to slow the water down and help sediment settle out, whatever else the state requires. But it's against the law to hold that water.
Mm-hmm.
So we could get in big trouble if we hold the water. We have to catch it and then release it, basically. And it's that same way all over the state of Colorado. A lot of water in this last storm. We got over 5 inches of rain, according to our rain gauge up there. And it was just an epic rain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much water we got from above, but I could show you where it all came from, and you would go, wow, a lot of water came from.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, some of that water would have been caught by the ditch company,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't allow runoff in their ditches either, so it actually was illegal to run that water into their ditch. Now, we have 2 engineers that disagree on if that water can go back in the ditches. Some engineers, one of our engineers say, yeah, it's fine, that's where the historic runoff has gone. But the ditch company disagrees with that.
Mm-hmm.
I sat on the board, a ditch board for 7 years, so I understand the ditch water is different, and there are a lot of other regulations that relate to ditch water. But what I will say is that our pond was actually increased in size by a lot And I could get you the exact cubic yards that it was increased, just because of a worry of runoff. The runoff that we get from above, we almost have to plan on that water, even though it's not our water, we have to take it. So there's kind of a lot of problems, and they do seem to run downhill. But as far as Pine River Commons is concerned, we went over and above our requirements for that retention pond, and it worked just like it should during that big rain. It did get a lot of water in it, but then it went out very slowly. There was a rumor going around that our pond failed and the dam broke. That did not happen. Just a lot of water came through. So you've been over to look at the pond. It's done its job nicely. The more growth that we get in there with grass and everything, the better it works. We didn't get any sediment in our pond, which is pretty surprising for the amount of water that we got. So what I will say is that we designed it, we built it as it was designed, and over and above that design, and we also have done everything we can to mitigate any kind of water problems. Last year, we had 3 storms, 2 of them that were 2 inches each. These are cloudbursts in the summer, and one that was 3 inches. And just one of those was the amount of water that came down in a short period of time filled that pond. And that shocked us. We were like, wow, that's a lot of water. So then we went back and rebuilt it even bigger. So that's what I can tell you about the pond. And if you have any other questions, as far as our other infrastructure, it's all put in according to Town of Bayfield standards and inspected by the Town of Bayfield and approved by the Town of Bayfield. And you're right, as far as more water coming off. When you have streets, you'll have more water. When you have roofs, you'll have more water coming off. But you'll also have yards that soak up a lot of that water. Yards, grass, and we've planted a tremendous amount of grass out there. And the more you see grass and gophers and everything kind of making that soil permeable, it helps. So,
Thank you, Brad.
yeah, you bet.
So when you say, are you referring to Cinnamon Heights, where a lot of the water is coming from as well?
Well, I'm not saying a lot of the water, I'm
But-
just saying that we get water from all of the above, and even across on Evening Shade side of the road, we get a lot of water off that big field that comes down, hits the ditch, and then comes over. There's a culvert that dumps right in.
Correct.
The gas station has a retention pond, and then it dumps into ours. So, and we have 2 retention ponds, one on each end of the project, one smaller than the other. And then there's a possibility that design for the bigger lots will require a retention pond as well. We'll just have to see how they're engineered.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully be retaining more water and releasing it at a slow rate.
Got it. Okay. I probably have one more question for our attorney. In this document, it talks about, it's in the section 7, and it's the last, on page 3, it's the last sentence that says, any public improvements. That's okay. Any public improvements required or approved under the LUC must be warranted for a minimum period of 2 years after acceptance by the town, which, and this is the question I have for our town attorney, which approval by the town shall not be unreasonably withheld. Is that acceptable language, or should we be able to hold that warranty until we're certain that the project has met the requirements?
Well, first of all, the word unreasonably is misspelled.
Yeah, there's a couple misspellings.
And so's
there. I just
withheld.
noticed too, yeah.
But I wasn't going to bring that to anybody's attention right now.
But
Yeah.
aside from that, that's standard language.
Okay.
And to not unreasonably withhold the approval or acceptance is standard.
Okay.
So that there can be no question that we're doing something arbitrarily or doing it capriciously. And so there should be some sort of reasoning behind withholding of an approval, so.
Gotcha. I just
that
wanted to
language is
double check.
standard, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I might just add to that, that's a reason that you have inspectors from the town that look at all those things in the way they're installed. I've already been in touch with Jeremy a couple of times this week. Paving will start on Friday for another part of the public streets in the project, and he's already been over to look at some of that and make sure that it's all going in like it's supposed to. And that protects you, but it also protects us from unreasonable time on holding monetary
Assurance.
Yeah, assurance. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. That's my questions.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Does any of our audience have questions?
I do have a couple of pictures if you're interested in the artist renditions of the.
Oh, I'd love to see him. Yeah,
Definitely.
Can I approach that?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be careful of the cords.
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, those look
They go
great.
well with what's there already.
Yeah, that looks great.
Sorry, Lucy.
So I might suggest while we take public input and questions, that those questions be directed to the board,
Yes.
and then the board generally direct those questions to those that should take, have the response.
Yes.
Lucy Stewart, and I have to disagree with Brad about that water was released slowly. Jeremy and his crew were out there, the chief was out there, and they saw that water was coming crazy. And in talking to the engineers that were at the meeting for the flooding from Vallecito, they disagreed with the town, that the town had even approved that project. With that pond in place, but also the fact that there is 2 culverts coming on the northeast corner of that property that I have complained about, that nothing's been addressed, and what's their answer to it? Well, we're not at that part of the project. Well, don't you think that that should be part of the project? That water got sent down to us, and will continue to be sent out to us. And you know, I know when the Baptist church right above us put a big ditch that put that water down to us, they were told by the town of Bayfield that they could not do that and send their water to us. So why is this development allowed to do that and drown us up and ruin our homes? Because they're okay and they got the bucks? No, I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's right. And I disagree with this, that there's really get all this water. I've lived there for such a long time. It was all farm, and we never got that flooded out. We used to get flooded out because the lateral we used to get all that water, and now that they got it underground, we don't get any water from there. But these guys have this big old pipe that sends all that water down, and you know what? I don't think they're gonna fix it. I know they're not gonna fix it. They just want to build what they want to build. And I think that the town needs to start stepping up and doing their job. They need to be making these people take care of what they're putting. Just don't put it in and not work on it. They're not, shouldn't be flooding us, ruining our land and our homes. Are they gonna help us repair them? Are they, or do we need to take them to court? What do we need to do? Because the people that I live next to are so ticked off. And they don't even want to come down here because they think that the town ain't gonna do nothing to help us out. And we got the feeling from the new town manager, 90% it's emptied out, so you'll be fine. It, never mind that we're still being flooded out. And it has taken, still now, that field is saturated behind us. And the fact that there's all this stuff that field had a lot of grass, and that didn't slow down the water. And I'm just really frustrated, and I know I'm not the only one. And then they come in and then now they want to change the program after they went through the planning commission and through the town to have certain units put in, but oh, now we don't feel like we can do that. Let's change everything. I really feel like these people need to have the feet held to the grindstone and for them to do their job. You know, we can't get nobody to respond. We couldn't even get the town manager to go over there and look at what was going on. We had the chief, we had the people from the public works. But you know what? That's okay, because I don't go away. And what the damage that has been done to our homes is another thing. They wouldn't like it if I was draining all my water and my trash to their place. And I'm just sick and tired of this. For them to come in here and tell you a new story on how beautiful it is. I think they need to do more. And the fact that, oh, they did what they can, they haven't done a darn thing. Because I watch them. I watch what they're doing out there. And I'm just sick and tired of Brad coming in here and saying this and that. And that they've done, I haven't seen them do a darn thing to that retention pond. And the water, as big as that pipe is, and the people that were there at that meeting that saw what was going on, they thought it was really ridiculous that Bayfield had done that. And they couldn't believe that they had done that to the residents in that area. I'm just letting you know how I feel about it. I don't think that's a project that is being handled and done correctly.
Thank you, Lucy. Do we have anybody else that would like to comment on this project? If you have other issues, please hold them for later.
Paul Black, 311 County Road 501. I just wanted to comment on the storm water issues. That's this project is going through the whole town, and what changed with the ditch companies. So when you look in our area here, when we got deemed as a water critical zone, that means all the water that flows in this area has to go back to the river. So in the past, in the historical stuff, when we talked about this, when it was ag and it was hay property and farm, you used to run right off of that and it would collect in the lateral beam, go down that, and can be used throughout the rest of the irrigation land. Because of what happened, we still, as ditch companies, tried to take some of that water, but the state stepped in and said, nope. If the river's on call, that water, if you put it in your ditch, you're gonna have to actually monitor that, meter it, and get it back to the river. At that point, the ditch companies, we couldn't do that. There's no way we could do that. And that changed your historical aspect of your whole town. Because the ditch companies were your channels out. Now they're not. Now that water goes directly right down to Lucy. And this is through the whole town. And so I had a long meeting the other day with your town manager of just kind of wrapping our heads around this of what we can do. And I think there is some solutions that will come up. There's gonna be a lot of work to it, but it's hitting the Ludwig's property. Dove Ranch has been a major issue that causes more water coming to the town for flooding. So I just wanted you guys to know what changed of why we're having such an issue with this. It's kind of unfair to the developers because they meet the statutes for retention ponds. The volume of water is not the issue. It's the change of what that water is. A retention pond is looked as a structure, and the water that comes out of that is a different type of water. It's flood water, it's wastewater. We're not decreed to have that in our ditches either. So it's an evolving thing, but I do think there's some answers to this. And I'm hoping that we can get working through this here soon because it's not fair to the residents, it's not fair to the ranchers, and it's not fair to the developers either. So I think I hope there's some good news that comes in the next future years and we don't have to talk about this anymore. So just want to let you know where the ditch's standing point is. We didn't want to cause this issue, we got forced into it as well through the state, so.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Do you guys have any questions for the town staff regarding this?
Not at this time.
Okay. I definitely think that maybe a meeting with Miss Lucy should be had. You had a long meeting on some solutions and maybe you can meet with her, Town Manager Waters.
Chair, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. It is regrettable that we didn't get an opportunity for everybody to speak to all the residents that were over there. We did have everybody over there. I spent a long time walking around there, ruined a good pair of shoes, wandered, took lots of pictures of the ponds, got some great ones. I know exactly what was in that pond, exactly what was in other ponds. There are other areas that were affected by this, and as Paul pointed out, we're all affected by the fact that the ditches shall not carry that water anymore. That's not the town's fault. We didn't come up with that law. That's the state's fault. They came up with that when they declared this a critical zone. I have spoken with our attorneys about it, that they deal with water. It's an issue we're all having to deal with. It's a problem, and I mean, pointing fingers is going to be great, but that's still not going to solve our problems. You know, we all feel like we've got a major issue here. We have for 5 to 7 years. We've looked at our plans. We had a big flood in 21, a different type of flood. The only way to fix this is to get the water directly in the river. That is how we fix it. And you know, I had some fantastic solutions that were proposed by not only Mr. Black, but other members of the ditch company. They all seem to follow the same theme. The best way to deal with this is to get it in the river. Don't park it above in people's neighborhoods. Don't put it in ditches, because ditches flood too. Don't put it in those areas. We've got to find a way to get it directly down the river. Had a long meeting today after a meeting with the Ludwigs and talking about the way we can fix this once and for all. And Jeremy and I seem to have come up with a tentative solution, but we don't just throw something up against the wall and hope we can throw some money at it and fix it. As I had explained in prior meetings, this is going to take some engineers to take a look at it. It's going to take a flow model to make sure it handles everything, because I don't like fixing problems as temporary solutions. I want it to be a permanent solution so that we can all, agriculture, residents, the town, grow together. You know, band-aiding this thing is just going to take the problem and stick it on somebody else. Whether it's a resident, whether it's one of our neighbors to the south of us, it really doesn't matter. We've got to get this water into a main channel that takes it down to the river. So that is currently what we were looking at. That is currently what we have. We have some basic ideas of where we're going to go. You know, the first issue, as I mentioned before, is dealing with the impact of the Schroeder ditch up at the very north side of town. I think we've got something that will take care of the north part of the highway, and maybe take some of the water that comes across the highway to the south side and you know, deal with that and put it directly in the river. It's going to take some work. It's going to take a lot of surveying. It's going to take money. There's no doubt about it. But as I mentioned to you, and why there is a section in the budget that talks about phase 1 of the drainage plan, that is the top priority right now, is to take care of that issue. We've got phase 2 we're looking at is going to take care of the area that we're talking about in question, not just a part of the area, but all the way up, and hopefully catching the stuff that's coming across from the Conoco station and some of the others that are on the other side of that road. I'm not making any grandiose problems or solutions to these problems, and I'm not going to wave a magic wand. It's going to cost money. It's going to take time, because we want to do it right. We don't want to throw the problem down on somebody else. But it just appears to me that from talking to all of our neighbors and listening to their input and looking at what's going on here, and no, I wasn't here, and I didn't create the problem, but I want to be part of the solution. And the only way that we can be part of the solution is get that water down to the river as quickly as possible, and don't let it sit up above neighborhoods. Don't let it sit up above ag fields. Don't let it sit up in areas like that, because all that's doing is as was described, it's just supposed to slow the water down. And when the Almighty gives you more water than it can handle, it's going to come down. That's where gravity takes it. And so the only way we're going to fix this is by putting it into an area that can handle all of that. We're talking about a large draining canal, but it's going to have to be done, and we're going to be working on that. But again, that's something that is a top priority with our staff. We have talked a lot about it, and you have our commitment that we're going to be putting a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of thought into making sure that this fixes it and we don't have to mess with it again. Again, we didn't create this problem, but we're going to fix it, and it's just going to take time and effort. And that doesn't mean we're not going to go to the state and make them help us fix it, because I fully intend on making them pay for some of this impact that they've caused, not just on us. I've asked other town managers in other towns, we're all having the same problem, where you have a ditch that's going through the town that used to carry, some of them are large enough to handle the water. They just can't because it's a different type of water and they're not allowed to handle it anymore unless they want to put in a fancy metering system to meter the water as it goes back into the river. We're not the only area that's like this, so, but we're gonna be one of the first ones to fix it. And that's my commitment to you. It's time, money, and effort, but, you know, it'll be done. Is it gonna rain between now and then? Probably, but we're working on it. That's the best commitment I can give to you, and I think we've got a pretty good plan. I mean, we sat down, we looked at it today, and I think we've got a good idea of where to start, and we will get started on it even before budget gets done, because I think there are some things that we can do, at least to start looking at right-of-ways and things of that nature to make sure it's feasible to get it done.
John, I'd also like to, I'd also like to review the town's stormwater requirements. So if that's a work session at some point, I know that we could do more within our town requirements. So I'd like to take a look at that and have a better understanding also what improvements might be or could be made.
Sure.
Thank you. Brad, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, just that we would commit to helping how we can, and I also have a couple of ideas that might help. I don't know if they're allowed. I would have to talk to John or the town manager about that. But the last thing is just that we are in favor of the findings and conditions. I didn't know if I needed to say that, but I thought that I better come back and say it.
I appreciate that, Brad. Well, I hope this discussion kind of at least shows that there are things in the works that we are planning. We do have the stormwater fee that we've been collecting from everybody to try to help with stormwater issues. And we also have John, who's willing to go to bat to try to get us grants for our area to also help with those stormwater issues to pay for it, because it's going to cost us some money to do this. If nobody else from the public has any comments, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see you over there.
Phyllis Ludwig, 9205 Town Road 521. I'm involved in 3 ditches. They all run through town. Surprise, surprise. And I want to commend him. He is the first town manager that has even tried to make an effort to help us ranchers. This started in 2005 with the ranch, and nothing has been done up there. We got a new town manager, and let's hope it's right. When Tom Bennett was mayor, he started a storm drainage plan. I don't know what happened to it after him, but he wanted to put it in the ditch. My husband said no. They went under the ditch and went back to the river. And I don't know who quit working on that or what happened, but I want to commend our new town manager for his help he's given us.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Ron Blanchard, 627 Louisiana Drive. Just a couple quick questions for the board, back to whoever. One is, by changing the status of the type of housing in this project, does that change the requirements? Because it's now gone to could go to all single-family houses of what's required of the developer? Just, does it change any of that or not? The other question is, weren't the original townhomes designated to be deed restricted? And if so, is that still the case? And will that carry over into all the new units that are being proposed?
Well, I can answer that second question because it's actually in our the amended agreement that we have, that it is deed restricted for 30 years.
On all the units that are proposed,
Yep.
changing the phase and how it's laid
Yep.
out? Okay, good.
And did you want to answer on the requirements, the question that he had?
As far as the other changes, it's simply spreading the townhome units out a little bit more, 6 feet between them. Otherwise, everything will look the same.
Anybody else?
Kirby Ross, 56 County Road 501, and also 1375 Bayfield Parkway. We are currently trying to figure out how to deal with all this water that's coming through our property, because our property is the one that gets to it's the last one to the river. So I do appreciate, like I said, I do appreciate the efforts that are going into this. Just in the work that I've been doing the last 6 months on this, it's not an easy fix. And obviously, upstream problems can't be solved by developers for their property. We're trying to focus on making sure that any mistakes that were made or errors that were made, we're trying to learn from that and do the best we can to support the overall goal. And just keep doing the work. We'll be here to support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Ross. All right, if we have no other comments on this, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, sorry. I was like trying to find the words. And we're going to go ahead and move to 4A for Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development Guide Agreement Amendment Number 1, action item. John, did you want to? What's that?
I'm sorry.
That's okay, if you don't have, it basically revolves around the same thing we were just talking about, and whether or not we want to go ahead and do it. I do know that the Planning Commission had approved it. There are some possible recommendations on page 6 of your packet, and there's alternative actions A, B, and C. Anybody want to comment up here?
I mean, I feel as if we want people to be utilizing and purchasing these properties, and if we're seeing that the demand is not for townhomes, but it is for single-family homes, I appreciate the ability to pivot, to still provide the affordable housing that was our original intent. We can't, there's no crystal ball to know if people want an apartment, a townhome, or a single-family home. So I personally don't see an issue with pivoting to single-family homes if that's what the people who are in this situation who can afford these houses, if that's what they are requesting. So I would be in favor of approving alternative action A.
To segue off that a little bit, being on the Regional Housing Alliance Board, I did get to see the town of Ignacio there, because they had actual single-family residences and not townhomes. And I saw them like fly off, they were just getting sold left and right, because that was the want from the consumer, was those. And while this subdivision was going a lot slower as a result, so I can see that. Plus, it's not as dense, so less people in the town. There's a little bit of that. Not that it's that much or that big of a difference, but there is that piece of it.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Nope.
Trustee Nyberg, you have anything you want to say? Okay, I'm just waiting for a motion.
So, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, is that correct?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
works. For now.
Person who is in charge at the moment. I would like to make a motion to move forward with alternative action A, which is to, and I'm hoping I'm on the right page, approve ordinance 512, adopting the land use code amendments to Article 3.
That's the next one.
I'm not in the right place?
Nope.
Shoot. Damn it. Okay, hold on. I'm backing up. What? Page 6, thank you. Okay.
Gives you the 3 options, and the language that you're looking for may be on that page.
All right, so strike everything I just said, we're starting over. So I'd like to make a motion to approve alternative action A, approve the Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development Guide Amendment as submitted with the following findings. A, the proposed revision as submitted is consistent with the intent of the Pine River Commons Plan Unit Development Guide Agreement, and B, the proposed revisions as submitted is consistent with the intent of the comprehensive plan and all requirements of the land use code.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Awesome. I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg.
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Yes.
Trustee Katsas.
Yes.
And Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
Or, excuse me, Madam Mayor Pro Tem Moreland.
Yes. All right, with that one, we can have Mayor Ah come back in.
Is
Oh, is
he?
there a second
No,
one?
I think he's recusing himself for fast track code amendment
I
public
thought it was
hearing.
5.
No,
4, and
yeah,
7.
3, 4, and 7.
Oh, okay, okay.
Go get him.
Slow that first.
We're just gonna make him hoof it back and forth. We probably should have put those
What was
together.
I
so we
looking
can have-
Oh, well, I'm looking at.
Yeah,
Little bits of pleasure.
We've prepared
Yeah.
the following items for the Board of Trustees on page 20. Oh, is that fast track?
Through 18. So I think. I don't know.
No, I don't think, this is not right. Because this is still this.
So I take it we are on 5? Just
Yes, we
to
are.
Make sure I know what
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
doing?
Yep.
Okay.
You are correct.
Do you see?
Next is the fast track code amendments, public hearing. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, the item that's brought before you tonight with regards to this item has gone through the planning commission and explained to you a little bit about what it is. In reference to proposition 123, which we are participants in, one of the requirements of that is that a town is mandated to adopt a fast track process so that within 90 days, your process is basically from start to finish, the review and those types of things are completed so that we can move forward. Apparently, in some jurisdictions, it's taking, from what Dola told me, almost 2 to 3 years for that process to go through, which if you're somebody who is developing an affordable, any type of an affordable type complex, you're already dealing with a smaller profit margin, and when you have to wait, and you've heard the time is money, when you have to wait that long, it's killing a lot of projects out there. So one of the things that Prop 123 is trying to do is encourage people to make it a priority when you see these projects come through. Now, I will happily tell you that our process does this with all of our projects. So we're already doing this, but I want Nancy to explain a little bit the changes that we're talking about that are required, that are in section 317 there. So if I may, I turn it over to the planner.
Thank you, John. So the idea here is to add a new section, 3-17. It would be added into the procedures section, where in section 3, it talks about how to review different types of projects. This would be an additional review specifically for affordable housing projects. It would apply under that 317B to site plans, building permits, variances, uses subject to review, plan unit developments, and any revision to those above items. Those are required by statute to be included. We didn't add any extra into that, but you could if you wanted to. It then states what procedures are not subject to the requirement, and that's annexations. Those would not really be able to be done in 90 days due to the number of readings and statutory requirements for noticing. Appeals, subdivisions, large subdivisions, and rezones. So that's what this would apply to. It only applies if the project is at least 50% affordable. Again, that's something you have some flexibility in. You can't make it more restricted, but you could make it less restricted. So if you had a development come in and they were only 25% affordable, you could apply, we could change this to apply the expedited review to that. We set everything right at the statutory minimums, and the planning commission thought that that's what we should do. I've got all the other requirements in there that they need to meet all other requirements of the code. It then says that once we've determined, the staff has determined it's a complete application, you need a final decision within 90 days. So that includes planning commission and town board, if it's a project that has to go to both. And then there's some provisions in there where the developer could ask for an extension, or if it's something beyond the control of both the developer and the town could add on additional extensions. If the project's withdrawn, it starts over again. And then we added this statement that this does not preclude the town from processing an application in less than 90 days. The state liked that one. We added a couple definitions of affordable housing, which is pretty much straight from statute as far as what is defined as affordable housing. And it is set at the 100% of the area median income. And then because a different planning commission suggested that not everyone knows what area median income is, we added the definition of that. And again, that's from statute. So I don't know if you have any questions, but I'm open for questions. The planning commission reviewed this and on October 14th and recommended approval. We've given you a copy of the resolution that they passed. And we're recommending that you approve it. I don't know if John mentioned this one, but the state is incentivizing early adoption of this requirement. It is required, since you've opted in, to be adopted by the end of 2026, so December 31, 2026. If you get this adopted and we send it into the state by December 31st, 2025, it makes the town eligible for a $50,000 grant with very minimal requirements to be used for affordable housing or processing, code amendments, other planning purposes that implement affordable housing in the town. So we hope you'll do it fast. You might hope to do it fast. I have reviewed this, sent this in as a draft to the state, and they came back and said that it should meet their requirements. Any questions?
Does the board have any questions?
Nope. Nope. It's
Okay,
pretty thorough to me.
I got one. Is that a matching grant?
No, no match,
Just money in our pockets.
Just money.
present.
Or there's always a catch. I'm just looking for the catch.
The catch is to make sure you do that.
And then I had one other thing that in our agenda, it says section 3-17, section A. It says help facilitate creation of affordable housing within the town of Ignacio.
Whoops. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on
Sorry.
19, page 19 of the packet.
They're doing it also tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just, you know,
That's good if we pass it for them.
not really, but Jeremy
Yeah, I don't think
will
he
be
will.
happy to get his town 50,000.
Thank you, Tom.
Catch.
Does the board have any other questions? I'll open it up for public comment. Okay, I don't see any public comment. We'll move on to item number 6, Fast Track Code Amendments, Ordinance 512, Action Agenda. Has the board had a chance to look at the ordinance?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 512 on alternative action A, adopting the land use code amendments to Article 3 and Article 8, adding an expedited process for affordable housing projects and a definition of affordable housing with the following finding. Finding A, the amendment is consistent with state statute, the comprehensive plan, municipal code, and land use code.
And
With
just
the
to-
adjustment for not town of Ignacio,
No,
but town.
so I
town
wanted to
Baker.
clarify, the ordinance has the correct town in it.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
yeah.
No, I don't have to worry about it.
Caught it there.
I'll second.
I was just quickly going over it. I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro,
Yes.
Trustee Katzos,
Yes.
Trustee Moreland,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes. And I'm out of here again.
Well, we're gonna wait just a second while he recuses himself.
Should have just assumed you did. I should have just assumed you did that one too.
I actually thought it was entertaining that he had to get up and get down and get up and get down.
I'm not at liberty to say.
On the grounds it might incriminate you. All right, we're gonna move on to item number 7, Bayfield Riverside LLC, intent to annex action item. Resolution number 653.
I should do this one?
Nancy?
This
You're up.
is we've received an application from Bayfield Riverside SPE LLC, also known as Outdoorsy, for an annexation of 37 acres, which includes the existing RV park. They're proposing zoning will be business or B for the entire 37 acres. I don't want to go into a lot of detail other than to let you know that we've received the application, the request, and the reason for the meeting here, or for tonight is for you to accept the application, deem it to be in substantial compliance, and then initiate the annexation proceedings. The hearings as proposed would be, let's see if I have it here, and I doing too many, would be in December. So, anyone remember what they are?
Trustees are the 2nd and 16th.
Thank you, Dustin. It's in there, so, looking at that resolution, it would be setting for a public hearing with the Planning Commission on December 9th, and then a public hearing in front of the town board on December 16th. And that's when you're looking at the merits of the annexation, and we'll have actual public hearings and public comments. This, right before you, just starts the process off. Are there any questions?
I have a question, actually. On page 34, I think there's a typo on the map, because this is not the McCoy-Gonzalez-Taylor annexation in initial zoning. I just wanted to confirm that that is incorrect.
Oh, in the heading, you're
Yes.
correct.
And then the annexation, so we're talking about where the RV park currently is, and when I'm looking at the map, the other area that is off of the highway that's not developed right now, that's also what we are referring to.
Right, that's the entire 37 acres.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to make sure of. And so right now, we're just talking about having the hearing, we're not talking about what that undeveloped area could potentially be.
Correct.
Okay.
But they have requested zoning of business for that property.
Okay.
How many sewer taps do they currently obtain?
I don't know.
I'm not sure how many sewer taps are in the RV park, but they are served for sanitary sewer.
Okay.
And this land comes with water rights?
I imagine they have water rights, but that's to be negotiated. I don't know if it comes with it. That would be maybe a portion of the conversation in the annexation.
Right, in the annexation agreement, because they're asking for a business zone,
Mhm.
yes, your processes would require them to give you their water rights.
Okay.
Would be good.
Except for the
They have to-
agricultural
Yeah,
ones,
right.
which is
So
the
we
ones
have-
they've been looking
So
at
they
lately.
either come in or they have to put money down to purchase that, so that's, as I understand the rules right now.
Right.
Fee in lieu? A fee in lieu?
Yes, ma'am.
I know those don't sound like real words when you say it out loud. All right, do we have have any comment from the public?
Paul Black, 311 County Road 501. I'm in the property just to the north of them. Discussed a lot of things with them. I think this is a great opportunity for the town. It's a good business there. They've always been good neighbors. So yeah, I think it'll be a good project. So.
Thanks, Paul.
Lucy Stewart, so my question is, are they gonna have another exit or entrance to that, or is it just one off of 160?
I don't think there's any requirements for them to change that piece of it. When they annex, it just means now they're part of the town and they pay town taxes and they get town services just like you do.
The other thing is the Department of Transportation, we call CDOT, will have their own requirements on what they need to access, whether it's coming off of the northern part of the intersection or coming off of 160 itself. And as you're all probably aware, they have a frontage road requirement in nearly every town when you come off, so there may be something, but that's kind of not within our purview right now. It's CDOT.
I would have think they would have already done that since they're already right off of Highway 160, yeah. If they want to develop further, then I'm sure that we would have to talk to CDOT, but I don't know if that's their intent. Okay. Any comments from the board?
Nope.
Looking for a motion?
I guess I'll go with this one. Madam Mayor Pro Temp, I would make a motion that we approve. We approve the Bayfield Riverside LLC intent to annex into the town of Bayfield.
With the findings,
With the
conditions?
With the findings, the annexation proposal as submitted is consistent with the intent of Land Use Code and the Municipal Annexation Act of 1965 and the Colorado Revised Statute Section 31-12 criteria, and the recommendation for approval of the first review shall allow the applicant to pursue the annexation application in accordance with the requirements set forth in Section 3-15 of the Town Code.
Conditions.
Correct.
There's conditions. That's findings.
Conditions A, further submittal shall be consistent with the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustee approval of the annexation ordinance, plot, and agreement. Prior to the second review by the town trustee, and the applicant shall enter into annexation agreement with the town of Bayfield.
Awesome. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg?
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro?
Yes.
Trustee Katzos?
Yes.
Trustee Moreland?
Yes.
Excuse me. Madam Mayor Pro Tem Moreland?
Yeah, whatever. You said Moreland, it was good. We didn't pass the but they passed it. It's the highest paid organization in our area. They didn't understand. I don't know about the lodger's tax.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And they passed the county. Wow. That needed to happen. Like, that was way worse than this. Yeah.
Discussion items and town manager's report. Town manager report.
Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees, you have in your packet manager's monthly report for this last month, October 2025. Again, I'm still doing quite a bit of learning. I definitely want to thank our neighbors and our citizens. I've had quite a few meetings with folks coming in, talking to me about what exists. There's a lot. I think I remember telling you I did a lot of listening my first 6 months. One of you had that question when you interviewed me, and there's been a lot of listening and writer's cramp, taking lots and lots and lots of notes, but I've learned quite a bit. You know, definitely Colorado has a more complex water system than what I've been used to in the past. So understanding that and understanding the way that the irrigation systems around here work has been definitely a challenge, but again, I appreciate all the help that I'm getting from the folks that have been here living that for multiple generations, and I'm starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. I can't say we're gonna be out that tunnel soon, but I think we know what direction we're gonna be going in. A lot of meetings with other folks as well that are great teachers. DOLA had a fantastic conference over in Breckenridge. It was a small communities workshop. As those of you that attended the budget hearings know, one of the issues that I learned is they were able to put a pencil to some of the numbers that they were estimating originally and telling us that, well, we don't know what it's gonna be, so we had to just look at the minimum level, which is what we got last year, for example, severance tax money. And they actually had an opportunity to sit down with the legislators and sit down with their tax folks, and then in turn, I sat down with their tax expert, and probably more time than he wanted to talk to me. But I definitely learned quite a bit from him, and I was able to upgrade some of our numbers to where we actually will probably receive a little bit more, still not as much as we received the last time, but it helped me sharpen the numbers a little bit better. Plus, I also understood some of the other laws that were out there. Got a great discussion on Prop 123 and some of the history behind getting it going and what the intent was. And you know, I think the intent of it's a national problem, especially in rural America, is dealing with a housing issue. We all kind of know, especially if you have kids that had to come back and try to find housing somewhere. It's tough to start. It's tough to get your foot in the door. So one of the things that I am going to be looking at, and I've already started talking with staff, is what we can do to make us different than our neighbors. There's a lot of things that we're all doing the same, and those have been identified in the past by not just us, but many other people as maybe impediments to having folks come back and having a place to live. And so I would ask that you keep your mind open, because as I learn more, I might throw some crazy ideas out, but these are things that I like to make us more competitive than our neighbors. I want to point out that we're doing things, we're trying things. We know that if we have something in place that's not working, you know, let's not keep doing it over and over again. Let's think about it, try to find a better way to do it. And so when we look forward into the future, some of the things I'm considering are you know, some of the costs that a young person has to make, or somebody on fixed income that has to, you know, if you're trying to bring your parents back, it's really hard to achieve the American dream and get a house. It really is. Interest rates are already killing you. I can't do anything about that. I wish I could. But definitely, but definitely, I think there are some things that we can do. And I've been sitting down talking with some of the staff about this, and I think we'll probably do, I'm going to need some professional studies to make sure that I know I'm not an accountant, and I'm you know, I certainly am not a tax expert, but I believe that some of our help may come from looking at what we do and make it a little different than what everybody else does around us. So I know that's a vague comment, but I'm trying to keep my mind open and trying to see what we're doing that we can improve on that maybe gives us a little leg up from some of our neighbors. And I don't mind if they learn afterward, as long as we're the first to do it. I'd be happy to do that and move forward. But again, I don't want to take my cake out of the oven before it's finished cooking, and so let me sharpen up the pencil a little bit more and get some numbers and bring something back to you that then would make sense and has a chance to succeed. But that's all been a lot of what I've worked on this month, in addition to the budget. And as you know, the budget's a learning process for me as well. I've worked with DOLA on that. They give me a few more things that have to be included. Every state has standard stuff that you got to stick in there. Some of it's just information for the you know, state's Department of Finance Administration folks to have and understand your town. But you know, there's things like I need to add another year's column onto the budget. Currently, I have the last year's budget, I have the current year's budget, and I have the future year budget. They want me to add another prior year before that, so I'll be adding 2024 on there so you can see a 2-year historical you know, lead up to what we're looking at. And that would be for each of the line items that you have in that spreadsheet. We also have a few other things that have slipped through the cracks, and we're trying to go over it I've got the finance department going over everything to make sure, because the more sets of eyes that look at it, and I appreciate the trustees that have had an opportunity to look at things, that they help me learn and look at it from different perspectives, but every set of eyes helps me make this thing better, and it's not perfect, but that's what I'm moving towards. So again, as you review it and as we go through the process, and I do fully intend on making the staff available to you through this month so that we can finish our hearing, I call them hearings, but our workshops on the different departments, and that would be the opportunity that each department head has to get up before you and answer any questions and go over anything that they feel is really important. And so that will occur during this month. So Dustin, one of the things that we're going to be trying to do as we get into this busy holiday period, unfortunately, is we're going to try to nail down at least 2 more workshops so that we can go over the budget. If we need more, that's certainly something that we'll try to get. But we're going to try to do that over the month of November so that we get you to December with some sense of at least we understand everything, and then we can do the final numbers as per your wishes, the NGOs that are presented. We've got the Morvan grants that we're looking at as well. Those will all be things that you can consider in the December meeting. We have to submit it by the end of that month, so we'd like to get it done by the first meeting in December so that we can get everything submitted before Santa Claus starts traveling around the world. So that's my report. If you have any questions over it. One of the things that's important, I have been talking with the county. Before Kevin left, he assured me he was going to positively present our request that we had talked about for the payment of the money that they had committed to match in the manner that I had presented in the budget, whereas we would bridge half of that $700,000 for this year, and then they would pay us the other half this year, and then before the grant ends, which is the beginning of April, which means beginning of March is when I need that by, before we close that other grant out, we need to get that second half. Kevin was he was amenable to that, taking it to the commission. We've already presented that idea to 2 other commissioners as well. Hopeful that the word gets around, but my big goal was to try to get the boards together. I may not get that done in time, but I suggested that as a possibility, but I did tell them that we would definitely like to know soon, because obviously we have to make our plans before the end of 25 to finish covering our portion of it.
Well, I think it's looking up for them because their sales tax passed. Their sales tax passed. Mm-hmm. Ours didn't.
So somebody has a good notice on it.
No, I just have people that text me and it shows up. Sales tax didn't go, or
gotcha.
this went, that didn't.
So anyway,
Super easy
that's
going.
my report on that, is that we have worked with the county. We're going to continue. I committed to you that I was going to be the squeaky wheel, and I squeak really loudly, so I'm going to continue to do that until we resolve this. And we are working with both our engineer and the contractor out there to make sure that this doesn't impact them negatively as well. So I think there are some things that they have committed to do after the beginning of next year. So I think as far as cash flow goes, if this is accepted by the county, then I think we're good. If it's not, then we need to go back to the drawing board and talk about the issues that are still on the table that need to be completed. So.
Any questions?
No.
Thank
Nope.
you, John. And then the town manager evaluation update.
Good evening. So some of you were gone last month, so I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page for town manager's performance evaluation. On Friday, I sent an email to you all to your town of Bayfield emails with a form that you can fill out for the performance evaluation. I would like to have all of you fill that out by the end of Veterans Day, so that's Tuesday, November 11th, and then I can compile the results for you all, send that out to you and the town manager, as well as the attorney, and then the plan is to have an executive session the following Board of Trustees meeting where you can have discussion with the town manager. So I know some of you maybe have had email issues accessing, so if you do, please let me know if we can maybe try an alternative email or
called it a form. It was more like a survey, right, where it went to a
Mhm.
website. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing
Yeah.
and did the right thing. Mine's done.
I got one, so, yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marie.
Action agenda, approval of minutes and financial action items. Approval of the minutes for October 21st, 2025. Has the board had a chance to look over the minutes?
I didn't attend, but I'm happy to approve them.
Yeah, I didn't attend either, so,
Because otherwise we don't have a quorum.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes dated October 21st, 2025.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes.
Trustee Katzos,
Yes.
Trustee Moreland,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes. October 2025 expenditures.
I don't have anything to add to, unless you have questions.
Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the October 2020,
Accept-
2025
them.
expenditures
Accept.
Accept.
Not a mo-
Accept.
That we, yeah.
that we accept.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes.
Trustee Katzos.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. Chevalo's liquor license renewal.
Yeah, you hear my spiel a lot, so I did reach out to Chief Hogue on all my liquor license renewals and had no negative input on that one. And this one is the last one for the calendar year.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Chevalo's liquor license renewal.
I'll s-
Second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes.
Trustee Katzos.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. And resolution number 654, donation policy.
So I sent that out in Friday's packet. It did go through legal review on Monday, so the hard copy you have, and as well as I did email that out on Monday to you all to your Bayfield email addresses, with Town Attorney Goldman's suggested edits were made. This also was something that was requested probably a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That we work on and get a more uniform policy. I think the conversation with the chamber, I believe, is what started it.
Yep.
And this is the result.
I think it's great.
So I do have one question because under item number 4 on the acceptance of donations, it does say support the town's goals, programs, or services. But if you're doing donations that you're accepting and it's supporting like Mr. Moravan's goals and objectives, that kind of is counter.
It does,
saying the
yeah.
opposite thing. One, you're saying it has to be the town's objections or town's goals and programs. And another one, it's, Mr. Moravan's, what he wants those funds to go to. He wants them to go to nonprofits. That doesn't necessarily mean that is a town goal, program, or service.
Well,
I mean, technically it's not.
when we talked with him 2 weeks ago, right, before the meeting, John and Chief Hogue and I, and he didn't necessarily say that that the money has to go to nonprofits or that it had to go to veterans. He's like, that was miscommunicated last year when that came across.
So I'm not disputing what he wants to have done. What I'm saying is this item number 4 is just saying we can only accept donations for the town's programs, goals, and services. We can't accept it if it's for nonprofits. That's not a town goal, program, or service. So I'm saying that I
Yeah.
think that verbiage needs to be rewritten. It's not clear.
But it does clarify it, I think, further down where it says use of donations, all donations shall be used for the purpose for which they were given as agreed upon by the town and the donor. Unrestricted donations will be used at the town's discretion in accordance with its priorities.
Except for you can't accept a donation to use it, because the acceptance is done under different verbiage. I think Town Attorney Goldman, if you can weigh in on that one of what you,
I think it's
your
broad
thoughts.
enough, to
Do
be
you think
honest
it's
with you.
okay?
I think that
All right.
the suggestion that it get, any donation meet the town's goals, programs, or services is pretty broad. And to the extent that someone objects that staying, that doesn't meet town service.
You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Mayor, Trustee Moreland, I think the intention is to look at the other side of the coin. You don't want to accept donations that do not meet your goals and objectives. And in some cases, some folks want to make, because they want a fiscal agent for a grant, something that would not be in the best interest of the community. I think that's just playing the other side of the equation. We want to be careful that we don't accept something like that. So it kind of looks like that language that's kind of a boilerplate.
Right.
General language is trying to make sure that it gives you the ability to turn a grant down if it looks like it's something that would be contrary to the goals of the community. And I can think of a lot of things that you get some organization that nobody wants to get anywhere near, that wants to give you money. So, thank you, but no, because it doesn't meet the goals. So maybe if that.
So maybe on some way, when we accept the grant, we verbalize it's for the goals or service or programs.
Yes.
When we accept it, like, not just have it in our verbiage when we talk about accepting their donations.
And Mr. Mayor, Trustee Moreland, yes, that is definitely something that we need to do. In fact, as the mayor was talking about with this specific one, which could be any of them, I mean, this was for
Right.
the chamber, but when we talk with them, I think this definitely, we need to talk about our policy and say, listen, we only accept this if it's not contrary to the goals, policies, and objectives of the community. And you being the elected members of the community set those goals, policies, and objectives. So they understand ahead of time that they're not going to give us something that then becomes a hot potato we don't want to touch. So we make sure ahead of time that they know, you know who you're giving this to, and this is our policy on accepting it. And in the case of Mr. Mormon, they actually, that was their requirement, is we know that you know what's best for your community. We want you to dole it out because you know your community better than anybody else. And that was, I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what he told us. So that even though we didn't intend, it did dovetail nicely into what the language of this is, is requiring of people when they donate to us. So I've seen donations that come in and nobody wants to touch them.
I'm not objecting to donations. I'm just want to make sure that there's the tie-in between the two, where we say it's our programs and services and that the donation matches that. And that's my only concern, is that to me, this states it's ambivalent. It really doesn't say. It's like, do we have anywhere that we say that one of our goals is to help nonprofits with donations?
Well, I think that we have the policy where we've been putting money aside to, that not-for-profits can apply for. So I think that is one of our town goals.
But we talked about not having it this year because of financial restrictions.
But I don't, okay. So,
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I just want to make sure we have clarity that, like, when we're doing it, we're accepting it, that we have something that says it does match. It matches because of X, Y, Z.
And I think that can be a general directive to staff to make sure
Right.
that is clear, crystal clear when we accept any donations. And we can certainly put that in our policy to make sure
Yes,
that is part
that's
of
what
that.
I'm hoping for.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to follow up on
Yeah.
Town Manager Waters' comment, it's important that you have the ability to reject a donation for things that do not meet your objectives, goals, or not basically for the general public's best interest, right? And so there are certain donations that may be made that may have more, I don't want to use the word nefarious or specific directive toward helping a particular group that is really of no interest to the general public.
Right.
Well, there might be a better place to go with those. Maybe there's something already set up that would handle the administration of that money better. So it gives you the option as a community to accept it or to deny it.
Any other questions, concerns?
No, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 654, our donations policy as written.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro,
Yes.
Trustee Katzos.
Yes.
Trustee Moreland.
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. Board of Trustee reports and requests for future agenda items. I don't have anything at this time. Trustee Harts isn't here. Trustee Cassos?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate that I want to have a workshop in the future to review and possibly improve our stormwater requirements based on what the town wants to have developers meet. And that's it.
Trustee Moreland?
For the Regional Housing Alliance, they are working on their November agenda, and so we're not quite there yet. So that meeting's probably, I want to say, next Thursday, I think it is. And then the La Plata Economic Development Alliance, their meeting is tomorrow. So I don't have anything to report on that. I still would like to make sure that maybe a meeting between town manager and Lucy Stewart is done so that she does understand what you are doing. I just want to make sure that she's getting what she needs and knows that we care and we're taking care of them. The same with the Ludwigs, even though I think you may have met with them already. Thank you. That's it.
Trustee Nyberg?
Nothing to report.
And Trustee Zazzaro?
I have no report.
Upcoming dates of interest is cleanup day is November 22nd. It starts at 8 a.m. and it's going to run till we're full. I think you have to have a utility bill or something to participate. There's a Board of Trustees meeting on the 18th, and the Planning Commission was put off till next Thursday, not next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is Veterans Day, and we're not having a meeting that day, so it will be on Thursday, the 13th. And with that, I'll adjourn this meeting at, you're fooling me with the clock, 8:09.
Oh, it didn't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, John, November 22nd is also Pine River Shares Thanksgiving dinner. If you can add that for next, on the agenda for next time so they can talk about it. 2 to 4 p.m.